Extreme Teams by Robert Bruce Shaw Book Review. Hello friends, today I am going to review the book, Extreme Teams, Why Pixar, Netflix, Airbnb, and other cutting-edge companies succeed where most fail by Robert Bruce Shaw. What the best teams do. Across a wide range of industries, corporate leaders who want to enhance collaboration organize their workforce into teams. But teams alone won't give your business a competitive edge. Many companies fail to embrace fundamental principles that help teams operate at their best, or they don't give their teams the support they need in the first place. Teams provide a competitive advantage when they operate well. The problem is that designing and managing teams is a complicated undertaking. There is a deep human need to bond with others, often in a risky endeavor, in the pursuit of a larger or even heroic purpose. Extreme teams provide that opportunity. Before organizing your workforce into teams, consider whether you need teams in the first place. Having individuals work independently is a better choice for carrying out some objectives. Figure out if your return on investment from deploying a team will outweigh the benefit of accomplishing the work in other ways. 5 practices. You can prime your teams for success by embracing 5 practices drawn from organizations with high-performing teams. Make work an obsession. Many people argue that businesses exist for one purpose, to make money. But some of the most successful firms have a deep commitment to a mission or purpose beyond earning good returns. They cultivate an obsession with their work, and they see it as meaningful. Culture includes the core beliefs and assumptions that people have about their work, their company, and their competitive environment. The challenge is delivering results without creating a culture that is too harsh, a culture where people compete with each other in unproductive ways or live in constant fear of losing their jobs. Obsession starts with the work itself. Talented, creative people labor to satisfy themselves, not their bosses, shareholders, or even customers. If teams produce something that is delightful in their eyes, the thinking goes, it will surely delight customers as well. Obsession also generates emotional investment in the company. Zappos, for instance, doesn't hire seasonal workers during the busy holiday period because temporary workers might not share the company's values. Instead, it asks people within the company to work longer hours during the holidays. A third type of obsession stems from a desire to benefit society. Teams at Whole Foods draw energy from the grocery chain's commitment to change the world through sustainable food. Companies often embrace teams, or at least the concept of teams, without providing attention to what is needed for them to be successful. Bear one caveat in mind. Make sure your company and its teams obsess over the right things. Some firms, to their detriment, fixate on short-term financial targets or on unachievable results. Hire for the best fit. When Patagonia and Zappos started, they hired only people whom the founders knew personally. The companies wanted to preserve what made them distinctive, the fundamental assumptions and behaviors that formed their culture. Innovative companies aren't looking for employees with heavy credentials, they're looking for a good fit. They hire by assessing the applicant's compatibility with the organization's culture as well as by evaluating his or her resume. Teams are used far too often. In some cases, the best decision in regard to using teams is not to use one at all. To maintain a fun work environment, Zappos asks job candidates to recount a time when they did something weird. The company requires new hires to undergo 4 weeks of training on Zappos's values. Then it offers them $2,000 each if they want to leave the company at that point. About 2% take the offer. Zappos knows the remaining 98% believe in its goals and culture. Providing people with a work environment that meets their relationship needs may become an obligation that, while not mandated, is expected. Figure out what traits define your culture and hire accordingly. Patagonia hires dirtbags, the founder's affectionate term for people who relish rock climbing, surfing, kayaking, and the like. If they lack technical or business skills, the company can teach those abilities to them, but it can't teach a businessperson how to be a dirtbag. At Whole Foods, team members interview prospective teammates and ask them about their love of food and how they treat customers. A new hire works with a team for several months. Then the team votes on whether he or she can stay. Those who receive support from fewer than 2/3 of their teammates must leave. Beyond one's family, the workplace is now the most important environment for many people. One risk of hiring for cultural fit is that you might build a homogeneous workforce that leaves no room for fresh thinking. Make sure your prospective hires embrace your company's core values, but leave room for differences in work styles, expertise, and background. The animation studio Pixar hires iconoclastic people who will challenge established assumptions, but they must embrace the company's fundamental belief in teamwork and great storytelling. Being rigidly focused on a narrow set of priorities, if not balanced with an ability to consider creative alternatives, can hurt a company over the long term. Assess a job candidate's ability to interact well with a team by applying the airplane test. Would you want to fly across the Atlantic seated next to this person? Or try the copy machine test. If you were working late, would you dread running into this person? 3. Keep a short list of priorities. Zero in on the vital few priorities that make your company more competitive. Focus attention to this small set of primary goals. Give your teams latitude in how they accomplish these priorities and allow for new ideas. Minimize administrative distractions, such as having teams fill out monthly reports or attend unnecessary meetings. Focusing only on a few priorities means that those few priorities had better be the right priorities. Airbnb, the peer-to-peer lodging rental marketplace, identified a dozen key priorities early in its history. Staying focused on so many priorities turned out to be challenging, so Airbnb pared down its goals to 4 objectives its leaders felt would drive the most long-term growth. They summarized the 4 goals on one sheet of paper. Airbnb communicates these objectives across the company and then gives teams a voice in planning and executing specific projects. The company lets people choose which projects they'd prefer to join. It believes people do better work when they take on projects that interest them personally. Whole Foods gives teams plenty of autonomy. One of its California stores decided to open a wine and craft beer bar, a feature the grocer later replicated in more than 75 other stores. These cutting-edge firms don't exist to make money, even though they are exceptionally successful. They make money because it allows them to do the work they love. To set the right priorities, executives must agree on the context in which a firm operates. Context includes an organization's commercial opportunities and threats, as well as what it will have to accomplish to succeed in its environment. As online streaming of entertainment became a possibility, Netflix CEO Reed Hastings deduced that his company needed to move from DVDs to streaming. The company kept its DVD business but segregated it, so leaders could eat, sleep, and breathe streaming. The company decided that its DVD vice presidents would stop coming to the company's leadership meetings, which focused on streaming. A paradox of cutting-edge firms is that they make more money because money is not what they care most about. Even as you emphasize a vital few priorities, leave room for experimentation. Otherwise, you may miss competitive threats. A team within Netflix came up with the idea of releasing an entire 13-episode season of House of Cards all at once, a remarkably successful experiment that changed how consumers experience online entertainment. Build a distinctive culture. When you explain what it's like to work at your company, you're describing your culture. A culture's characteristics can be hard, like performance goals and strict accountability, or soft, like creative collaboration and informality. A culture that blends these elements can become a messy contradiction, but most innovative companies build a distinctive culture that meshes hard and soft attributes. What works for one culture may not work for another. Pixar keeps its headquarters open around the clock every day, recognizing that some people prefer to work non-traditional schedules. But Patagonia locks its offices at 8 p.m. every night and all weekend. It wants employees to take time away from work and recharge. The most innovative companies share 6 cultural attributes. All-in teams share a fervent commitment to the firm's values. Patagonia published a study showing that the synthetic fibers in its fleece jackets may shed tiny plastic particles that harm rivers and oceans. Patagonia is studying how it and other manufacturers can minimize their environmental impact. Autonomous team members should be free to determine how they'll accomplish their objectives. To avoid rule creep, Netflix scuttled many of its administrative rules. For instance, it no longer requires employees to report their vacation time. Transparent. The corporate administrators freely share information with team members. Whole Foods, for example, gives employees access to its business results for each store, each team, and the company overall. Accountable team members are responsible for the results they deliver. Netflix evaluates teams and individuals based on their results, not on effort or past performance. It aims to hire only those who can succeed in this high-performance culture. Playful, innovative companies believe a fun work environment fuels a more engaged workforce. Communal, savvy firms foster a sense of community. Pixar draws people out of their work areas at its headquarters and into shared central spaces clustered around a restaurant, coffee bar, and mailboxes. Steve Jobs, who acquired what became Pixar from George Lucas, insisted on this setup, believing it would foster interactions that would yield fresh ideas and insights. Create a safe space for conflict. Teams need the right purpose, the right people, and autonomy, which can be a challenge, because firms tend to standardize processes and create bureaucracies as they grow. Organizations and their leaders must yield control to get the most out of their teams. The potential payoff is huge. Teams, at their best, harness people's innate need to work together toward a higher goal. Takeaways. Many companies group employees into teams, but many firms don't help their teams succeed. Airbnb, Alibaba, Netflix, Patagonia, Pixar, Whole Foods and Zappos are cutting-edge companies where extreme teams spur innovation. Aim to excel at both results and relationships. Don't try to balance them. Harness the innate human need to work with others toward a higher purpose. Your organization can implement 5 practices to emulate these teams. Build teams of people who are obsessive about their work. Base hiring decisions on a candidate's fit with the company's culture. Focus on a select few priorities, but leave room to investigate growth opportunities. Build a distinctive culture that blends hard and soft attributes. Don't shy away from internal conflict when it leads to better work. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe our channel for more videos.